This is my sister. It's not uncommon for sisters to fight a lot.
Yeah, tell me about it. But a lot of times, the cause of you being upset at your sibling is not actually what they did to you, but something you were already upset about that has happened to you.
That makes a lot of sense.
Several new sports were added to the roster of Olympic Games, including karate, rock climbing, and skateboarding. Something that has not yet been added to the list, however, is quarrelling.
If quarrelling were a competitive sport, there would be many great contenders for the gold. Example, there is one man in Jewish history whose name is synonymous with disagreement and conflict, Korach.
When the Jewish people left Mount Sinai on their way to the Promised Land, Korach launched a rebellion against Moses. He claimed that Moses had unfairly promoted his own brother Aaron to be the high priest, the Kohen Gadol. The claim assumed that Moses was calling the shots, and not God, thereby challenging everything Moses said.
The rift that ensued between Korach and his followers on the one side and Moses and Aaron on the other side was a very painful narrative in our history. In the end, it took divine intervention to solve it.
In a miraculous vindication of his faithful servant Moses, the Almighty opened up a hole under the feet of Korach and his mighty quarrelers and swallowed them alive, proving once and for all that their claim was groundless.
The story concludes with an eternal lesson: don't be like Korach. What makes a person start a fight like that? In Korach's case, it was his desire to take the role of high priest for himself. His grand accusations were a sham. What really motivated him was plain old jealousy, and his mistake is not uncommon.
We are naturally motivated by our own desires and self-interest. Take the following story, for example. Sarah walked up to the community bulletin board where she found Beth in a fit of anger. "What's the matter, Beth?" Sarah asked.
Who runs this place? I'm so upset with the way they do things, Beth responded.
"What happened?" asked Sarah.
They took down the sign that was here yesterday, Beth answered.
"Whose sign was it?" Sarah asked.
It was my sign, Beth replied. We're much more likely to get upset about a personal offense than from a violation of our values and principles. Rarely is a person driven to anger and conflict by ideals alone. And since that's the case, when we find ourselves seething and indignant, we must first pause and check our motivation and make sure that we're not acting like Korach. We're not sacrificing shalom for our own selfish reasons.
Try this today. If you find yourself getting angry, pause. Take a moment to reflect and see if there's some self-interest that might be the cause of your anger. I'm Yaffa and Penuella
And I'm Henteleff, and we are trying to speak with words of peace.